Hello and good morning. This is Simon BLOOR, and this is my video related to the Unit 5 discussion board. And the piece of news, or the article I chose to take a look at, is written by Katie Riley. It was published on the time.com website on March 19th, 2018. And it's concerning the record numbers of college students seeking treatment for depression and anxiety. And the strapline there is, but schools can't keep up. And I chose this article as a topic for discussion because it impacts the Student Affairs unit I work in at Chapel Hill quite significantly. And there's been a significant increase in the numbers of students identifying with my office for accommodations as a result of anxiety, depression, and other mental health challenges. It's also a group that significantly impacts other student affairs units and campus partners, for example, housing, counselling, wellness, and other associated units such as the Honour Court and the Student Conduct Office, the Department of Public Safety, Academic Advising and Appeals, and Scholarships and Financial Aid. The article first focuses on a particular student, Nellie, and Nellie displayed the typical behaviour of a student who finds herself caught off guard by the demands of a heavy course load, high expectations, both of herself and by instructors and the institution, combined with some predisposition to mental illness, and also an inability on her part to seek out appropriate help as quickly as it was needed. And as is typical of many students in a situation, she said that when you're going through that and you're looking around campus, it doesn't seem like anyone else is going through what you're going through. So Nellie started missing class, disassociating herself from friends, missing meals, and she skipped some team practices. She was on the soccer team and eventually dropped from that team and then took a medical leave of absence from the institution. The author uses this personal account by a student of her experiences as a segue into some statistics relevant to the college counselling sector, and she writes that between 2009 and 2015, the number of students visiting college counselling centres increased by around 30%, while enrolment grew by less than 6%, and that students seeking help are increasingly likely to have attempted suicide or engaged in self-harm. In spring 2017, nearly 40% of college students said that they felt so depressed in the prior year that it was difficult for them to function, and just over 60% of students said they felt an overwhelming anxiety. Further on in the article, the author recognises that many college counselling services have changed practices to respond to increased demand, for example, by introducing a triage system to connect students with appropriate care more efficiently, and by introducing brief therapy models to make more efficient use of existing staffing, and have also increased staffing, some significantly so. The author references a report stating that 40% of college counselling centres hired more staff members during the 2015-2016 school year. Other schools and services are being even more creative, and so not only just simply increasing the number of staff, but looking at different ways of service delivery. So, for example, the article references a service that has embedded counsellors into residential dorms to make the accessing of services easier, and by using screening questionnaires to facilitate early intervention. And this early intervention is seen by many as critical, as it connects at-risk students with support earlier. So the real thrust here is to identify early and provide support rather than trying to provide means of reintroducing students who have found it necessary to leave. This growing demand and the struggle institutions are facing with meeting demand, meaning that mental health remains the primary reason why students withdraw from college, has also brought about a new industry. So we're now seeing return to college programs, largely within the private sector, and these are programs designed to teach students the skills they originally lacked, i.e. self-care and regulation, through to academic skills such as note-taking and time management. But colleges can also do more to stop as many students reaching the crisis point. Recognising that the first year of a student's post-secondary experience can be where things can unravel most dramatically, some colleges are also redesigning the first year experience to provide greater touch points and support. At UNC at Chapel Hill, a first year cohort model is being designed for introduction in 2019 to provide students with a much more readily identifiable set of peers and staff. And at MFit, which is a mental health fitness, much like an LFit class, and a 101 introduction to UNC, are two classes that are also being introduced alongside this curriculum. When things do go wrong and students reach a crisis point, many colleges have policies and procedures that can be invoked to assist students and retain them. So, for example, facilitating the dropping of classes, underloads, and taking incompletes. I think colleges could do more to publicise these options as available to all and not just a few, as many students sense stigma attached to them, but they are woven into the fabric of many colleges. Students experiencing such challenges should be encouraged to connect with the college's Disability Services Office, or in our case, UNC Accessibility Resources and Service. Sometimes it's not possible to recommend or identify accommodations that can have an immediate impact, but the connection with such an office can be helpful further on down the road when office staff can help advocate effectively on the student's behalf in relation, say, to the application of attendance policies, make-ups, incompletes, and so on. Increasingly, engagement outside of the classroom is being recognised as an insulating factor for students, and so ways to make students feel and be involved are actively being designed by colleges. At UNC, the availability of residential learning communities to enhance the residential living experience has increased significantly over the past 5 years, and there are now opportunities for many student groups, including those in recovery and dedicated to a healthy lifestyle, those enthusiastic about outdoor activities and pursuits, service and leadership, innovation and entrepreneurship, global experiences and travel, transfer students, first-gen students, and students identifying as a member of the LGBTQ community. Colleges, I think, can also be more flexible in their application of attendance and participation policies, and this can also help with retention and success of students with mental health challenges. Currently, UNC has a policy making attendance mandatory, making it very difficult for students who may have fluctuating conditions to stay in class. And this can mean that a student experiencing significant, but nevertheless manageable levels of anxiety can quickly find themselves in trouble and failing. Attention is being given to this policy and guidance is being issued to instructors about attendance requirements. So, for example, instructors are being encouraged to think critically about the level of attendance required to be successful in class, or indeed if attendance should be mandated at all. Consideration can also be given to assessment and the ways students demonstrate mastery. The article acknowledges that demand upon counselling centres spikes significantly with midterms and finals, and colleges will do well to consider if placing such significant weight upon a few assessments is an effective way of assessing student learning. By way of summarising, students with mental health difficulties, including generalised anxiety disorder, social phobia, adjustment disorder, post-traumatic stress, depression and schizophrenia, and also groups presenting with another disability but known to be comorbid with mental health conditions, so for example students on the autistic spectrum or with severe ADHD, are becoming much more visible in the student population. While this has had a direct and measurable impact upon college counselling centres, many student affairs and academic units are also significantly impacted. Student affairs units can have a positive impact upon college services and curriculum delivery to have a positive impact upon this group of students, and with the added benefit that such changes are likely to benefit all students. Thank you.